Good morning, traders. Welcome to the live trading room. I hope you are all doing well. Right, before we get started, as I have indicated, we will be resuming with the afternoon webinars where we go through pairs in groups and then we do a detailed analysis on those. You may also want, not may, you also need to follow us on our social media pages, that is Twitter and Facebook, because whenever the charts are updated, we're going to be posting there as well. We do also have a email functionality as well that we can send to members. But if you have it on social media, Twitter mostly and Facebook as well, we will be updating whenever the charts are updated, whenever there's a trade setup, whenever there's a chart of the week. Do take 2 minutes of your time and just follow our page on Twitter and also on Facebook. Drop us some likes as well, and we'll be keeping the website very busy as well with blogs and some educational material for you guys, so that you can get your money's worth as well. I know we do more than what you paid for, because that is the service that we do. We like what we do as well, so that's the whole idea, right? So please do that. As we speak, all the charts are currently up to date on the website, so you can check out the detailed analysis on the website. Let's have a look at the DXY first. Let's start with the US dollar pairs. DXY, we have been expecting this structure to move to the downside. Looks like we are getting a continuation pattern for one more up here, but let's have a look at it first. Let's have a look at the bigger structure, the overall structure that we've been looking at on the 4-hour. So this is the three waves, this is the three waves, this is the three waves. Okay, is it gonna give us that three waves here? And this becomes the three waves. 1, 2, 3. Not very clear at the moment, but this move to the downside is still pretty valid. We're gonna look at this just now. Let's have a look at that in a bit. So the structure that we've been looking at is a simple three-wave structure and then move to the downside as follows, with a WXY here and then downside. So on yesterday and on Sunday as well, we have been looking for these to break lower here, looking at this as a flat as follows, and looking for this to make a move to the downside. Okay, these can still make a flat here with a move to the upside and then downside. So we're seeing that we're still going to get a bit of a push to the upside. Is that going to change the structure? We may still get this to the downside. So let's just watch this for now. Let's see if there's a trade setup for upside that will change our view. There is on the 4-hour, but I'm not really interested in this. This is still going pretty much sideways. And I do not like this structure either. This structure does not make sense. This structure does not make sense. It is not a corrective structure. So let's see how this plays out. If we're going to get a push to the upside, we could be getting just a continuation there and then expanding flat still before we get a move to the downside. Euro will be the inverse, obviously. We have been expecting this to go all the way up after making the three waves as well. And we're also looking for this 1, 2, 3. It's going very correctively. This is a very corrective structure. So even if we've been expecting upside here, that upside does not look like it's going to come at this stage. Even if we get a push to the upside, I still think that this will make one more move to the downside before we actually go. So let's see what we get here. We have got 1, 2, 3 up here. We've got 1. Let's make it bigger so you can see the lines that I'm drawing there. Let's make it bigger so you can see all this. So this is a complex correction here. So guys, this is 1, 2, 3. this is how we'll be looking at this. A move to the downside, a move to the downside. And we've got one. Now we're looking for this one to make one to get to the blue box. So this is why I'm saying this does not look ready to make a move to the upside. Now, if we have to go down a degree lower, we've got 1, 2, 3 here. Got 1, 2, 3 here already. Now we would have been looking for this to make 1, 2, 3 to the upside. So this move to the downside may not go all the way. We may get this corrective structure. But the idea here is to wait for the complete corrective structure to complete before you take any trades. As it is now, as for the upside move, it does not look like it's going to come with this structure. This is not a move that's going up. This is corrective. As you can see, this is going sideways. So we should still see some more downside. So it's not something that you want to trade right now. Let's see how, let's get more data first and wait for this corrective structure to complete. Looks like we're going to get one more down here. That is euro US dollar, not very clear. Pound US dollar. Pound US dollar should get around these levels. We are also sideways here on pound US dollar. Going sideways with this structure, we've got 1, 2, 3 down, 1, 2, 3 up, and then move down here. Will it do this? Same structure, we are going sideways. So we should see some more downside on pound US dollar before we resume with the move to the upside. So we are still looking for that upside all the way up to 156. So currently we've got this corrective structure as W, as X, and then as a Y. So we're still looking for that. So this one may take here, bounce, and then come back down here. It is corrective. So as much as this has made a 3-wave structure here, we had been expecting this to go like that. But it is not going. As you can see, it has gone sideways. So that means it's not ready for a move to the upside. That is a continuation pattern for more downside. Okay, so let's see how this is going to play out before we get involved there. They are pulling back. Most of the pound pairs are pulling back as well, but that's only to give another opportunity for more upside. So pound US dollar chief, we also on Sunday we were here. We've been expecting these to drop like that. So you know, let's just have a look here. We didn't project a blue box for this one. Let's do that now. We couldn't quite, not this. So that is where we expect this to go. These are the 0.618, as you can see. That's where we have bounced. Are we going to start making a move to the downside into the blue box? Now, if we get into the blue box here, that means pound chief may continue with the move to the upside. And this is why I was saying the euro move and the DXY move, as much as it can complete here, even if we do see this one pushing to the upside, we're still expecting more downside, either downside or just sideways. And even if let's just go to the daily and look at the possibilities here, because there's a number of possibilities here. Let's look at this structure. We have got 3 waves here. All right. Now let's say we get these 1, 2, 3 here. This possibly going to be at the 50% of only this leg. There's a possibility that we get another continuation pattern here, and we get another corrective structure here that takes us to about the 50% of the whole move. And that structure can make a structure like this as well. From there, you can even get another one like that, which is WXY corrective structure, but that will invalidate the whole corrective structure. So we'll have to relook at the whole structure here, and then we'll see if we can get a move to the upside from there. So currently we are just going sideways. It is a sideways move. There's no setup for either up or down here. So you do not want to trade within this structure here. We want to trade out of the structure. We want to trade out of this structure and get confirmation of the setup that we're looking at. So let's keep an eye on that. That is euro US dollar, pound US dollar. Did we look at pound US dollar? Yes, we have. US dollar chief, yes. US dollar CAD. US dollar CAD is making a bounce to the upside. So again, you know that whenever US dollar CAD gives us a bounce, it's an opportunity for more downside. It's giving us a three-wave corrective structure for upside, but we will look for this to continue to the downside. This looks like a three-wave structure. We will be looking for this. If we look at the daily, let's have a look at the daily. Let's see. So this is the reason why we are not buying US dollar CAD. The daily is still below 50. We're already making a three-wave structure. We will come back down here. But as you can see from around these levels, the move to the downside has slowed down significantly, as if making an ending diagonal there. So at some point we may see a bounce here in three waves, but we'll still expect this to go all the way down to about 120. So we're still expecting more downside. It is slowing down. There seems to be some divergence here on the daily, as you can see. So as we are making lower lows here, we are making higher lows. We are making higher lows on the RSI. Okay, lower lows, higher lows. So that means at some point, even if we're getting that divergence, doesn't mean that we're just going to reverse like that. We can get one move up here and then one last one to the downside before we start expecting reversals to the upside. Now, even here at 120 doesn't mean that we're just going to come touch and reverse. It may take some time here. You can get some structures before you actually get the move to the upside. So we're just going to be tracking that. Audi US dollar. Let's go back to the 4 hour. Audi US dollar. 3 waves up. We're still expecting this one to come take this low here. Nothing has changed from yesterday and Sunday's analysis. We're looking for this to come take the low here. And then we have a structure like this. Let me just draw it again so you can see clearly. We've got 3 waves down. 1, 2, 3. 1. This looks like a running flat here. 1, 2, 3. We take the low. Are we going to get a bounce there? I expect it. Then downside before we get upside. That will be a WXY corrective structure. So all the US dollar pairs, as you can see, they are in these sideways corrective structures. New Zealand has already broken below here. As we've seen yesterday, let's have a look here. So now make it here. I'm trying to figure out the structure here, because this structure does not make any sense. There's no structure like this, these 3 waves. It's not a corrective structure. So I'm trying to see what happened here. So that looks like a 1, 2, 3 there. If we're looking at this, then that should be a zigzag. That should be a zigzag with a shorter leg. A, B, C, with a short leg zigzag. Remember, a zigzag with a short leg, but this will not make sense because this is now impulsive. So let's have a look, relook at this again. So that will be 1, 2, 3. This actually makes much more sense that we've got, and it's important to make sure that you've got the right structure. Can you see here now? This makes much more sense. We've got the 3 waves here that you cannot really see clearly here. 1, the spike down, up, and then downside. That's 3 waves down, and that's 1, 2, 3. So it's important to have the right structures. So that is the correct. I hope it's not getting messy for you to see here. This is W, this is X, this is Y. Now this makes a lot of sense than those structures. So you need to have the correct waves within the higher degrees as well. So this one, unlike Australian dollar, has made a move to the downside in 3, has made a 3-wave pullback. We've got that, and it's making what looks like another one. So we should get another pullback at some point, similar to what we would have had here. Like that. Okay, So that's what we're seeing there on New Zealand. Not trade setup there really. US dollar SAR will give us a trade setup. When this breaks lower again, we're gonna see this one break lower. This is a corrective structure. We're still seeing more downside for US dollar ZAR. We want it to come break lower here. We want it to come break lower still here. So if you get that confirmation, as long as the risk to reward ratio is good, you can still take it down. Pound yen, we've got a pullback here. Let's go to the 4-hour. We're still expecting that pullback. The target is still 156 here. It's showing another continuation to the downside on the 4-hour. 4-hour, there's no setup. Let's check on the 1-hour. 1-hour, there's a setup for, there's no setup either. Structurally, we're seeing this. We're seeing this, so this may make one more up before we get to the downside. So 1-hour and the 4-hour, there's no structure for downside. It's not going anywhere. Let's go back to the 4-hour, US dollar yen. US dollar yen, we are looking for this 1, 2, 3. We'll see when we take this low if we're gonna get one more move to the upside on US dollar yen. Euro yen, we're looking for this running flat to play out. Looks like we're still gonna make a move down here to give us 1, 2, 3 before we make a move to the upside. That is Euro yen. GF yen, we were looking for this to give us 1, 2, 3 down. This correction here, we are still getting that structure 1, 2, 3 down. Still looking for 3 waves to the downside. Still going accordingly. CAD yen, some pullback, as we said, as we did with all the CAD pairs yesterday. We're expecting some deeper pullbacks here on all the CAD pairs, but we will resume up higher when those corrective structures are done. New Zealand yen, now around these levels, are we gonna get a bounce to the upside? So we saw this one taking the top here, 1, 2, 3, take the top, come back down. Now let's see what happens here. Do we get a reversal from those levels? That has been the expectation. Audi has not reached that level, but could make an expanding flat, or a running flat rather. Could make a running flat with a reversal at any point here. So let's see how far we get to the downside. We're still expecting more downside. 1, 2, 3. You can see it's playing out exactly as expected. That is Audi yen. Gold. Gold looks like we're going to have a bit of a push to the upside here. Bit of a push to the upside. We're still looking for that to go to the upper boundary of what looks like a diagonal. So it is going quite slow. So you don't want to be involved within these structures like that. So we may get one more up here to complete what looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Now, if we need to go to the upside, we need to get a wave 2 here before we get a move to the upside. 1, 2. Then we look for upside. So this will be the wave that we're looking at on gold. All right. All right, so that is gold, silver. So silver is still showing us continuation to the downside. It didn't break from yesterday. We're looking for this. So with silver, it looks like we're going to get one more down here. We will watch those closely. Whichever one confirms the structure first. Platinum, this is Brent crude. Let's go to platinum. One more on platinum. So platinum seems to be wanting to make a structure like this. These are 3 waves here in this red degree, 1, 2, 3. Are we going to see platinum push up higher from current levels? We need to see this one above 50. This one is already at the bottom. What we simply want to see here is this yellow, or rather the candle closing outside the structure here. then we'll start looking for at least a move back to around these levels. That does not necessarily mean that that's going to go. Can New Zealand yen be taken aggressively to the upside? You'll have to make that decision. You know that that will be a risk. You know that will be a risk to take it without confirmation. That is a decision that you need to make as a trader, whether you want to take this and assume that this is just going to make a flat without any confirmation. Okay. Brent crude is still showing downside. We've got this pullback here. We're still expecting downside. Look at the indicators. We are below 50. So Brent crude will still continue to the downside, even if this comes back to around these levels. Pound chief. Pound chief, on Sunday we were here, we saw this coming down, but you can see as much as the forecast is correct, you don't really want to trade these short moves. So you want to have a decent corrective structure. So this looks like a three-wave structure, looks like another 3 waves, could be expecting another 3 waves, then that would be a decent corrective structure for us to take this one further up higher. So I'd want to see this one correct deeper. As you would have seen, this has made a parabolic move to the upside. So we need a decent correction, and that is the one that we're looking at here. And it's making a lot of sense now to get one more down before we get upside. Pound CAD. So Pound CAD, we're looking at this one as our trade of the week. Nothing has changed. We have got the 3 waves here. I've indicated exactly what has happened here yesterday, that this looks too obvious. They may put it back here before they bring it down. So you can see here, that's what they've done so far. Are they going to drop it from there? So that looked just too obvious. So the weekends will be out here when this does this. So we are looking for this one to just simply come down, correct, and then downside. All right. That is Pound CAD. Pound Audi. Pound Audi is not going anywhere. It looks like it's still going to give us one more down. We wanted to tag here at least before we start looking for moves to the upside. Pound New Zealand. So Pound New Zealand has broken out of that structure. If you remember, the structure on Pound New Zealand is this one. We are looking at this flat correction here. We've got this as 1, 2, 3, and we said this is going to make 1, 2, 3. It's playing out. We're going to get this one to start reversing, push a little bit higher before we drop. That is Pound New Zealand. Euros. We're getting a bit of a bounce. You've seen what the pound pairs are doing. On the euro, we said we want the euro to come and tag here. Nothing has changed. It is going accordingly. Looks like this is a continuation pattern. Look for it to get to that level before coming down again. Euro Audi. Euro Audi, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. I'm expecting this one to go up impulsively. The pullback looks like it's only a wave 4. Euro New Zealand. Euro New Zealand has made a three-wave structure. 1, 2, 3. I was actually expecting Euro New Zealand to come down from here. Okay, so it has made this three-wave structure. Let's see what happens when we are around this level. But Euro New Zealand, just like Euro Audi, these are long-term bearish pairs for more downside. So it has made a perfect three-wave structure. I will be expecting to see a reversal. We're looking at this one to have made this corrective structure here. EuroCAD. This corrective structure is still valid. 1, 2, 3. We still expect this to continue to the downside. EuroChief. Those are 3 waves. That is 3 waves. And that is 3 waves. Looks like we're getting 3 up, 3 down. Are we going to get another 3 up here and make a bigger corrective structure as follows? Let's keep an eye on this bigger corrective structure. There's a possibility for this here before we go to the upside. So just be mindful that this is a corrective structure here within the X. It can take many different forms. Another form it can take is this one, taking the low here before coming up here for this corrective structure. You can see that that does not change the overall bigger structure there. The bigger structure will not be affected. Whichever path this takes within this corrective structure, it will be still intact. Audi New Zealand, structure completely changed here. 4 hour, let's go to the daily. We were looking for this to give us a sideways structure here. We never got a confirmation for this to come down here. So the structure looks to be changing here. We've got a 1, 2, 3 to the upside. Let's have a look here. 1, 2 here. Are we gonna start getting a reversal from those levels? We just need to see if we're gonna get a pullback here. The structure is incomplete and rather not clear at this stage. So we need to wait for more data to see what we are getting here. So New Zealand, wait for more data. New Zealand, Audi New Zealand, Audi CAD. We are pulling back here with Audi. I remember all the CAD, the pairs that have got a CAD on them are pulling back as with, no, this is not because of oil, that's because of the CAD. Let's just have a look here on the 4 hour. I've detailed the correlation with oil yesterday. So we've got the CAD as the quoted pair here. So it is not the driver, because if it was the driver, we would have seen this. The CAD is currently weak, so we should see the bounce here. So the strength of, or the weakness rather, of the CAD or the oil should result in this bounce or corrective structure. So oil weak should push this for this correction to the upside, and oil weak means CAD weak. So when this is weak, that's why we're going to have this short-term upside here on CAD. But it's going rather sideways and not even giving us a sharp corrective structure. Audi Chief. Audi Chief, is it going to give us this? Because we've got 1, 2, 3 here. Let's see what we get from current levels. We may see a push to the upside there. New Zealand CAD. Looks pretty impulsive. At some point, we even looked at this to possibly make an expanding flat. That did not happen, so that looks like we're going to get a deeper corrective structure here. Wait for a deeper one here. Looks like we're going to have long-term downside here. Let's just look at the bigger structure here on the daily, or weekly rather. So we've been looking for CAD since 2015. Since 2015, I've been looking at this correction. So in 2015, I saw these 3 waves, and I was expecting this one to go all the way. Has not happened, and it's going sideways still. And the structure that has now eventually played out was this 1, 2, 3 here, and I expected CAD to now go all the way after making this move. Those that have attended the course around 2016, 17, around this level, these areas, will remember this, that we used to make an example with this one. This was one of the charts that we use for practical application. We used this for practical application, and we're expecting this. So it is now making this nice flat correction. We've got this move to the upside on the weekly. So we are getting a pullback here. So that pullback does not mean a reversal. So we may still just be getting this structure to the upside. So let's keep an eye on New Zealand CAD. New Zealand Chief. We still want to get to around these levels. Still want to get to around these levels. So Pullbacks in the lower degrees just means it's another opportunity to get involved and get higher. So we are seeing this corrective structure. This should potentially continue to the upside. We've made a nice corrective structure here, and then we will look for this to the upside. All right, so that is New Zealand Chief. Chima says, and the ending diagonal. I'm not sure if you're referring to New Zealand CAD. I don't necessarily see any ending diagonal. CAD Chief, are we done with the correction on CAD Chief? It has also made a nice three-wave pullback. Doesn't look like we are done to the downs. We are done yet, but in any case, what you want to do is, if this is a three-wave structure with a long diagonal here, so you want to wait for this one to give you an entry for upside. This is the 4 hour. We've reset it at the bottom, but this is slightly below 50, so we want to see this one above here. So we want to see a candle close above this. Then we'll start looking for upside. That will be our confirmation. That's that on the CAD, on the Euro pairs, the S&P 500. As expected, this is a three-wave pullback. You want to get involved when it breaks above this here. Because currently we've got a bit of a deeper pullback. Well, we should still see continuation to the upside, or we can see this one making a double, but only trade when this is done. Dow Jones. We're going to see continuation to the upside. Nothing has changed. Did I miss Audi CAD? Yes, it looks like I missed Audi CAD. So Audi CAD, we're looking for this to break out of this structure, just does this and comes down. Could still be a structure like this. This is still a corrective structure, even if we do get a bounce here. Doesn't look like it's going to go much further. Right, so that's Audi CAD. Thank you for that. Let's look at, have we looked at the Dow? It's a pullback. Let's go to the 1 hour actually. And just have a look at the short-term views. So the 1 hours are showing us downside here on all these pairs. We got a pulsing move. We got a three-wave structure. We're expecting this before any move to the upside. Dow Jones Transportation. Samir says it is a new setup. What do you mean by new setup? I can't see my chat box. I'm missing. Okay, Dow Jones in the, this is not the Dow Jones, that was New Zealand CAD, S&P 500. Please just, if you're asking a question or you're making a comment, make it a bit more detailed so I can understand what you're saying. If you just make one line, I cannot make out what you're saying, so just make a bit more detail. Right, so that's Dow Jones Industrial looking for a three-wave structure to the downside. Oh yes, that means the setup would have been invalidated. The setup would have been invalidated as we've posted. Just check your, you can just check that setup. So we're looking for this one to make a push to the upside. So if that has come down here, as you can see, that means the setup has hit the stop and it is now invalidated. Okay. All right, so transportation will be the same. Just looking for a pullback there. Let's look at the NASDAQ. We do get setups wrong, by the way. Not everything is 100%. All right, so that is a three-wave pullback on the Nasdaq. We're looking for this to continue to the upside. So that's why you need to use risk management. Just because you posted a setup does not mean you go in all out. Still risk no more than 2% of your account. No holy grail, unfortunately, we do get those. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Okay, so that is the Nasdaq UK 100. So the UK 100 has still made that three-wave structure. Let's go to the 4-hour. Looks like we're starting to get these three waves as completed now. We're gonna now start getting this to the downside. So we just used a different color there. This move to the downside. It's a continuation pattern. We'll see a continuation to the upside when we get to this level. Absolutely, absolutely. If you do not risk 2%, it is a rule. 2% is a rule, no more than 2%. If you are risking more than 2%, it is not sustainable. DAX, still continuation to the upside, nothing has changed, upside. So the indices, Nikkei, it's making what looks like 3, 3, 3, like that. Continuation pattern, we'll look for more upside. Nifty, now those three waves that we looked at looks to have completed. With those three, are we gonna start getting upside here? That's what we're looking at. Indicators confirming. You just need to go above 50 here and look for more upside. That is the Nifty. Then let's go to the cryptos. Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, we're still looking at this. Is this going to be a wave 4? As I've said yesterday, this is an invalidation level for this to be making a wave 4. Any break below here invalidates the structure that we're looking at on Bitcoin. So, and it looks like we are very close to that level. So this cannot be a wave 4 if we break that low there. So let's keep an eye here. So there's a possibility that this structure actually makes a corrective structure as follows: 1, 2, 3. But let's see if we break this low here at 52,600. That is not going to be a 5-wave structure to the upside. Just keep an eye on it. Ethereum also pulling back. This one has touched that level, so that means it looks like there are 5 waves here on Ethereum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, if that is the case, let's have a look at this. If that is the case, if those are 5 waves, there's a possibility for this structure. Let's switch everything off here. Why is this? Let's switch everything off. So what if these are 5 waves here? And we've come down here with what we said was 3 waves down here. So that means that if this is 5 waves in the yellow degree, we need to get another corrective structure here. Whether this comes and retests the low, doesn't matter. So we can get a 5-wave structure, maybe something like this here. And this one makes this corrective structure. Then we get the lowest one to the downside. That will be a complete corrective structure. So that these 5 waves make an A in the yellow degree. Just so you don't get confused when you see there's a correction, but there's 5 waves, but we're coming down. There's that possibility there. So that will be, let's get a green here. There will be a WXY within the green, within the B, WXY corrective structure. So that's a possibility. So let's see how that one is going to play out. It's going sideways. When this whole corrective structure is done, then we'll look for the next leg higher. Litecoin. Litecoin has made this 1, 2, 3. We're looking for this on Litecoin. And the B is showing us this. That's the B, expanding flat on the B wave. we're looking for this one to come down in 5 and ripple. Still a pretty messy structure. This is 3, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. This is 1, this is 2, this looks like a 3. Are we gonna start coming down here on ripple and follow the rest? Let's see how that plays out. That's all for this week, guys. Or rather for today. Have a good day. I'm gonna stop the video. If there's anybody who's got a chart that you want me to look at, we can look at it offline. Cheers, everybody. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.